As soon as we've had this discussion and y'all are all on board with what we're doing, we'll have another conference call. That's when we'll find out how far along they are. Mm-hmm. And probably what we need to do is just go ahead and put a deadline. Okay, by such and such a date, presumably before our next board meeting. So shortly, a week or two before our board meeting will be the deadline to actually put all this on paper and get it back to me or to Sandy. And then we'll have the results of all of this work to show you at the next board meeting.
I'm just thinking too, do they have, they know about the health, safety, and welfare website that NCAQ has?
Did we talk about that?
I think we've spoken about that. One of the biggest things that we talked about on the call was just, and you know, I've learned through osmosis. Been with Matthew for 23 years. So I kind of went through LSU, except I got to sleep at night when he was in the studio. But working. But still to this day, people use interior design terms, and I see on business cards, people do programming, people do schematics. We don't know what that means. So if we're talking about you guys wanting to educate the public on what it is that you do, you've got to figure out how to put it into everyday words and tell people, not just programming on your business card, but what does that mean?
Right. We know what it means, but it needs to be translated.
You know, but how are you going to sell it?
Right.
That's
why you need.
That's number 3 on the list.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's really kind of what we talked on the last call. That was kind of the biggest focus, that and getting the statutes from the other professions as far as their definitions.
I'm sorry, Colin, what did you say the next call you thought would be?
We have not scheduled it.
Okay. But before the next board meeting?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
I would say within the next week or two.
Yeah, we'll schedule it next week.
We had it scheduled for last week, and we postponed it. When we told everybody, as soon as the board meeting happened today, we would contact everyone to set up another date.
Yeah.
So
we'll
I
get started
within
with
that
that Monday.
too.
Okay. Thank you, Carol. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, is there, so you're thinking like that you would also use the terms like programming and then say what it is? Because I think you have to be careful there too, because when dealing with the other professions and people that are used to those terms, we don't want to totally confuse them and think like, have them think like, well,
They're
don't know
talking
what they're
down
doing.
to
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's figuring out who you're talking to,
Who your audience is.
who your audience is, and then how you to best communicate to them. So if you're talking to a group of architects, then you can certainly use programming and schematics. If you're talking to people at a house and garden show, to stand up as and say you need an interior designer because I'm going to do programming and schematics for you,
You have to define that.
isn't going to get you the same end result.
The other thing I wanted to say is we happen to have a very active and energetic student organization this year. And they've taken on a lot of new tasks, and I think that we could, now that you're organized and doing that, if you have some tasks you need to do,
Okay.
that you could, you know, we have space, come in, kind of show them what to do, you know, like looking up, I think, as I told you, or something like that. I suspect, as long as you don't get too much into April, that they would be, I think that they would be enthusiastic about doing it. And I just offer that if there's some
They're
task.
probably pretty computer savvy, and might
Very.
know
Oh, yeah, definitely.
that they could take the information that we gather and create a format or a brochure or
a book. Yeah,
a book, or you know, get it to
PowerPoints.
yeah, PowerPoint. That would be all
Well,
those things.
we had a video of their creativity.
Yeah. Exactly.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I just offer that to
that
let you know.
talent. That would be, and then really that would be sort of the next step that we need to do. Once we have the information, then we need to translate it into a format that we can actually use, and maybe they can help us in that regard.
That'd be fabulous.
Very good. Well, thank you, Carolyn.
So we'll just bring you another report at
Before the next
board
board
meeting.
meeting. Right, thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Certainly.
Okay. Are there any websites that have your information on it as far as what you do?
There are two websites that we should probably refer you to. One is the Interior Design Board website, our board website, and the second is ncitq.org, which is the qualifying exam group. And they actually have some very interesting health, safety, and welfare demonstrations on that website. And it also explains the exam and explains the process, and I think those are the two best websites for getting an insight.
Well, because I draw, I use Punch Design, AutoCAD, other things like that, as far as just doing remedies, designs, and they're very easy to use. But Ghost Scout Homes is an excellent opportunity for you all to display your talents, which is like letting people see an actual design in the phases that they go through.
And what was that website?
It's an actual television broadcast, Ghost Scout Homes, where the realtors put all their stuff. You know.
Ghost Scout Homes, yes.
Yes.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah,
It's in a couple of markets.
Yeah.
I've seen it's here.
It's major, and it'll help you. Because I mean,
New Orleans, too.
I do a 3D, and I can put it up there and show you what the floor looks like, how you walk through the house, and everything else. Well, it helps people to see the visualization of what you do.
And I think the thing is, you were just talking about programming and trying to explain things. Probably a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Yeah, exactly.
His wife's a realtor,
Oh.
so I'm sure that comes in handy for her.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And he's
I
absolutely
think-
right. Video is wonderful. And the students now, I mean, you see, they can do
Yeah,
that so
it's nice.
easily.
Yeah, the connection made between health, safety, and welfare in the video, which is
But also,
immediate.
I've been doing this how long? I won't, you know. But programming, schematics, I know basically what you're talking
But if
about.
we had pictures that showed what it was.
Yeah, put it into place and actually
That would make more
use.
sense than trying to describe it, because then we just use a lot of other terms that nobody understood.
And we'll talk about that when we get down to the fire marshal section.
That's a great idea.
That would be easy to accomplish by showing a project from start to finish.
Well, maybe you can take that back to your committee to
So you
if
got
you're talking about translating
how the
what
project
programming
looks,
is.
well, how the project looks at schematic design, how the
What
project
does
looks
this look like for
at
programming?
design development, yeah.
Oh, I think that's a great idea, thank you. A picture worth 1,000 words, for sure.
You know, I was gonna ask this, at LSU, they have that house that they built in the backside by the old baseball field, and they
house?
bring in, that, it's
Yeah,
that
green house.
the house is that, green, whatever.
Yeah, there's a function happening
Yeah.
right now.
I mean, we need to leave things there. I think maybe we could do something there, if LSU would allow us to. Do you think, or?
I wouldn't, we've been very active with the house since its inception and done a lot of, the students have done a lot of work on it. They have a lot of brochures. I'm sure that they would be glad to do that. We always have interior design interns work there.
You know, but that
Yeah,
would give
and several of the people who work with La House are licensees, and I was just emailing with one of them yesterday about the capacity of La House as far as how many people can they hold. Remember we were having
Yeah.
this discussion? Or looking at potential CEU
Yeah.
opportunities there.
Now, What they- is it?
They
What
can
is
hold,
the
if you
capacity?
use their classroom, which someone told me is the garage, as they convert it into a classroom, it
Yeah.
holds 30. But if you're not using the classroom and you're doing a walk-through type situation, it's unlimited, they say.
Yeah, because they start them at different
Yeah.
places.
Well, I did a CU there, but it was for contractors and whatever. It was about 3 or 4 years ago. And they went in, I don't know what the building was, but it was a big, like, auditorium, seating like this, and they explained everything, and then it wasn't far from there, and I can't
Okay.
remember. And then everybody got in their cars and drove over there.
Yeah, we
And
talked
then-
about doing that too, using a different auditorium. That's interesting.
And I mean, it was fine, and I think they kind of took them in groups. Like, one group went at a certain time, and then the next group followed like a half an hour or so later or whatever. So, but I mean, I always thought it was just a neat thing that they had all that, and you could go and see all the installations and different things, construction,
Yeah.
you know.
Is the house always open, or is it just scheduled for
No,
events?
in fact, okay. Is this an appropriate place to talk about?
Sure.
This is the well, no, this isn't. This is a different thing, but there is a house technical tour today, part of the CSI CEU today. And then I thought this whole format was so nice, the CIC, graphically and the information, and then just the program. They're doing a segment in the morning on changes in the International Building Code, and then they have a segment, Sustainable Design Strategies, and lead overview by someone named Matthew Edmonds. And then they have an afternoon La House technical tour. And they did open this up to our students for free, and a lot of our students are going. But one, I thought, I think it'd be wonderful for us to do a similar thing. Two, we ought to get on this so that our CEU is on there. The current, it looks like he's the president, I think Steve Toubret, is coming to LSU to give a talk on a particular subject. So I could talk to him about that, but the other thing, and then Sandy and I talked about doing something with La House, a CEU, because it is a wonderful facility.
And Diane Skamika, is that how she says it?
Skamika,
she's the coordinator of this event. So she and I were emailing this week about getting this approved for interior design licensees to attend. And she says that that's what we were talking about, capacity.
Yeah.
And she said that although there are 30 people there today, right now, that the majority of them are students, and she would like to be able to offer it to the professionals.
I think doing that would be great. And I like how they list it out, and then there's a map. I mean, it's a very nice,
And this is for 0.6 CEUs?
Right, this is all this is all AIA, 6 hours of health, safety,
and
welfare,
CSI.
and CSI CEUs. And the only challenge that we were discussing with this is that our CEUs lately in Baton Rouge, the last one, we had 93 people. So
That's a good
how
thing.
do we,
Yeah.
good thing, but how do we tell the licensees, sorry, we can only accommodate 30? So
do it 2
we have to
days?
I was
figure
gonna say,
out,
can you do it twice?
right, so we'd have to figure out either get only 30 people at a time scheduled, or we would have to potentially have the classes someplace else and then everyone transfer over to the La House for the tour.
And that wasn't a problem. I think they kind of did it at lunchtime. I don't know whether some people went to the house first and then went to listen to the lecture, and then some people crossed over and went second at the house. So
I think this would be fascinating.
it was awesome, and I'm gonna go try to find my paperwork, because it was a contractor, an architect, architectural license, contracting license, design license. It was a bunch, and I didn't see anybody I knew in there, but I thoroughly enjoyed it.
When did you go? When was
I
it?
went about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, something, 3 or 4 years.
So it has, I mean, like it would be something new for our licensees. It wouldn't be something that they've already just done.
Yeah.
No,
And it's-
ASID, well, I think both ASID and IIDA have had a function at La House. 'cause
Well,
I've
our
been to-
ASID
But
one
it's been
was years ago.
Yeah,
That
it was a
one that-
while ago.
It was still under construction.
And they change all the time. I mean, they've done a lot of changes. And it's a wonderful
Yeah, and I think it's definitely something
group
that
there
we
too.
can- since we do the Baton Rouge CEU in the fall, we've got plenty of time to coordinate and figure out details. So if that's what you
Is
guys
there a
want
charge
to
for the
look at.
facility?
I haven't gotten
I
that
think
far
so.
with Diane, but I believe it's all education grant money
Yeah.
that runs.
So the only expense we would have would be for whoever was
Any
the lecturer,
speakers.
any speakers.
If there's,
Any
Now,
lunch
they may
involved.
be, if we're putting on a CEU, there may be some kind of charge or donation,
Right.
but I don't know. But if you go there, there's certain hours it's open, and, and it is for the public, for professionals, and for students, and they do draw that whole audience. But I don't think there's a charge if you go in as an individual.
no, I don't think there is either. So I'll find out some more. I'll bring some info.
So does the board feel like this would be a good CEU to offer for licensees in the fall?
I think it's good.
Fall. Well, in the fall, we usually do codes of some sort.
Well, this falls right into that.
So why
You can
not?
you can talk about the residential codes
Exactly. And
It'd be an
isn't that
excellent
what we
place to
just,
talk
we already
about.
talked about doing that.
this year. And that would be a nice show and tell for the codes.
So let's do that. So that's gonna be our fall